Oil is such a big scam. I hate oil. It gives the worst countries massive amounts of influence and power. I cannot wait until we switch to green energy, not because of the environment, fuck the environment, but because these oil nations get away with so many things just because Europeans and other countries want to have good relations with them only because they want to buy their oil and their energy and fund their shitty dictatorships. If these countries did not have oil and the West did not benefit from them, they would have stopped cooperating with them long ago. What a lot of people don't know is that oil is not rare and it is not expensive. It is artificially kept at a high price by a couple major countries working together that are called OPEC, so they can all sell it at a decent price and make money. So, for example, if Saudi Arabia just emptied their oil and the price dropped to 1 cent, then all of these countries would go bankrupt. It's not like these oil countries are using that money for anything other than being evil, but there are actually two countries who use their oil quite well. But let's start with the evil ones first. And these oil countries are always so fucking insecure. Literally, most of them have zero freedom of speech. And listen, man, you can limit my speech, but nothing is going to stop me from printing out your picture and on it. This will be my resistance. Some people ask me why I hate Russia. I say to them, how much time you got? I can never run out of things to say. Russia is a fictional country made up of many different ethnicities and many different countries. This is why they call themselves the Russian Federation, and they are by far the most evil out of any oil country. But you know, I don't blame them. At least we all know they're evil and they're not trying to hide anything. Yes, the whole world will be Russian, we will invade everywhere, and we don't expect anything good from them, right? But the fact that Europeans were supplying Russia with so much money by buying their oil and gas and funding their occupational war machine while pretending to be moral and cool is just a bitch move. If you are going to fund the modern Nazi Germany for years and years, even to this day, just fucking say it, man. Say it with your heart. Say Heil Hitler. I know you Europeans love Hitler now, so say Heil Hitler or Putin. Same thing either way. Even after the Ukraine war started, they're like, oh, we're gonna stop buying Russian oil and gas. Not really though, but it's so cheap though. Also, we're gonna give our European friend Ukraine weapons to defend itself, but I know you're at war with the three countries, but you shouldn't really strike into Russia itself, even though they are abusing that fact by shooting you and then returning to their border so you don't attack them. The European Union has spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than sending aid to Ukraine. And then this French idiot comes out with, oh, Georgia is turning into the most privatized country in the region, is turning into Stalinist. Brother, you fund Hitler. What do you mean Stalinist, bro? Every neighbor of Russia has tried to have friendly relations with them, and every one of them got invaded. So the fact that so much of their economy is run on just oil and it funds their imperialist army makes them the most evil oil country by far. Because, for example, the Middle Eastern countries use cheap labor and take away their passports, so they basically have them as slaves. And Russia also does that, but they take them to the front lines to use them as sponges for Ukrainian bullets. So along with being imperialist, they do everything these other evil oil countries do and more. And oil is such a vital and such an evil resource that despite being sanctioned, they now just sell oil at a discount and everyone keeps buying it, fueling their war machine even more. English is not my native language, and the way I actually learned it was through watching movies and TV shows because they were not available in Georgian. And I think making language learning fun is the best actual way to learn a new language. And today's sponsor, LingoPie, does exactly that. It's basically the Netflix of language learning. They have 13 languages and over 3,000 movies and TV shows for you to enjoy in 13 languages like Spanish, French, Italian, Japanese, and more. I personally think that this is the best way to learn a new language, since this is how I am speaking English right now, when my native language is Georgian, which is a very different language, as you can see. And they have bangers on LingoPie's own platform, and on top of that, you can integrate it with Netflix and Disney+. And the best thing is that it's interactive, so you can translate everything you see. Personally, I'm using it to learn Spanish, watching Spanish Batman, and already learned that the Joker in Spanish is El Guasón.
Traposo. ¿Crees que estos me favorecen?
¿Quién eres?
El Guasón.
No, ¿qué?
again.
Here you can just click on it and it explains what everything means, which I think is very useful. Like if you can't understand the word, you just hover over it. And I think that's an amazing feature. There are flashcards and even pronunciation feedback to help you learn. And it's available on everything: iOS, Android, your TV, and computers. I suggest you click the link in my description because they're offering a 55% discount right now and a 7-day free trial. So you should check it out. It's a 7-day free trial. You have nothing to lose. In 2013, Azerbaijan released the election results before the election had even started. They accidentally leaked it on their official apps. It showed Aliyev winning with almost 73% of the vote. And then when the election ended, he claimed victory with 85% of the vote. This would secure his third 5-year term. And as of 2025, the Aliyev family has been ruling the country for 32 years straight, since the country's independence. In 2004, Ramil Safarov, a lieutenant from Azerbaijan, was attending a 3-month NATO language course in English. There were also 2 Armenians attending the course with him. And motivated by ethnic hatred, he sneaked into one's room and killed him with an axe in his sleep. He then went to the other Armenian's room, but the door was locked. And while shouting his name outside the door, the Armenian guy wanted to open the door, but his Lithuanian roommate stopped him. He was arrested for this, and in his court hearing, the way he talked about what he thought of Armenians made Hitler sound like a leftist white woman, showing no remorse, and then got sentenced to life in prison with possibility of parole after 30 years. Now, the thing about this case is that Azerbaijan has oil. So, this monster zinc-looking fuck called Viktor Orban extradited him to Azerbaijan, and a week before that, they were coincidentally talking about Azerbaijan loaning Hungary 2-3 billion euros. After he got extradited, Aliyev pardoned him immediately upon his arrival, gave him an apartment, and over 8 years of back pay. Also, they have funded Israel's war machine by providing 40% of Israel's oil. My solution to this? Make Hungary even smaller. Clearly, Trianon was a good deal for Hungary. Romania should be even bigger. Fuck it, they get Moldova too. And you know what? I like both Croatia and Ukraine, so they get this. My ancestor taught me how to redraw borders in Eastern Europe. I am only continuing his legacy. I'm kidding, man. I love Budapest. It's a beautiful city and Hungarian food is good. Just please get rid of this motherfucker. Nobody can take this anymore, bro. He made Hungary the poorest country in the EU, bro. How do you do that? And they get away with all of this because the EU chose to get their oil from Azerbaijan instead of Russia. I'ma go to Dubai and tear that shit down brick by brick. The UAE is so funny because it turned from, whoa, look, cool building and money, to now only being known for the most annoying people that you never want to talk to going there and living there.
No, I don't think I will.
Crypto bros, course sellers, British people, just stuff like that. I don't know how to describe it, but to me as an outsider, Dubai feels like this picture. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Bonnie Blue is a woman who slept with 1,000 men in 24 hours, having people line up for her. In Dubai, Tate set up a boxing match where he had 60 people lining up to box him for a couple minutes. This is the exact same thing. Also, this country is a big user of the kafala system, generally the entire Middle East. You would think, right, that a country that has money would pay their workers well, but no, they decide to go the complete opposite route.
So I'm always in Dubai, but a friend of mine told me I had to check out this pool.
One of the most unique scuba diving experiences of your life.
They've both heavily promoted this pool on their large YouTube platforms. I do have a sneaky suspicion they might have been paid off by the tourism board since they've linked the state-run YouTube channel, but I'm not going to throw out claims I can't completely substantiate. Will Smith's video has 25 million views, 1 million likes, okay? Imagine the amount of people he has brought into this silly pool, which on average costs 200 quid entry. We're talking big money generated for the owners of this establishment. So I thought I'd have a quick look at who owns and who built this pool. That's right, it's your boy Osama bin Laden's family's construction empire.
Hey yo, what the?
Well, you wouldn't be able to guess the types of practices that Bin Laden construction is employing in the current day, could you? Here's an example to give you an idea. In 2017, a group of foreign workers, probably Nepalese or Bangladeshi, weren't paid for 6 months. Their wages were already probably around $4 a day in one of the world's most expensive countries, leaving them with no way to ever fly back home. And on top of that, they most likely had their passports taken at the border and were effectively locked into slum housing surrounded by armed guards who escort them to work every day. Oh, and this is all in 45-degree heat. So rightfully, they were a bit annoyed when they didn't even get paid and protested this at the bus depot where they usually crammed into blacked out shiny coaches to prevent rich city dwellers from seeing the disgusting sight of lower class humans. The protest was dispersed pretty quickly, and in return, they were not paid. Instead, sentenced to 4 months in prison and, I quote, 300 lashes in public. And you'd think Will Smith would be specifically appalled by such practices, since he literally last year starred in a very emotive, harrowing film centered around being a slave who was whipped extremely severely. But no, he's literally generating money for a company that 100% proven whips slaves.
If you're ever wondering why YouTubers in Dubai are always talking about, oh, Dubai is so good, it's because they legally have to sign a document, the fucking influencer license, where they can't talk bad about Dubai. What the fuck is this shit? They arrest people for posting bad Google reviews. And like, I swear to God, saying things like this makes you realize that free speech is the best thing ever. I can say anything I want. George Bush doesn't care about black people. They get most of these workers from India, Bangladesh, and places like that. They come there looking for work and then they get their passports taken away from them. You know how fucked up this shit is? There's a Pakistani in the comments defending Indians. That's how fucked up this shit is. Qatar is a tiny country, but it's literally like one of those ants that can lift like 200 times their weight because they are one of the most influential countries in the world. British were colonizing them? Well, now they ended up owning them back because they got so much money that they now own more real estate in London than the British royal family. Qatar is the goat of oil influence. It's such a small country and they have so much money. It has mostly been known for hosting the 2022 World Cup where they banned beer and football together. And a lot of people got very mad at that. But also, like, if you're in a Muslim country, I think it's disrespectful to ask that they serve you beer, which is not allowed in their religion, just so you can have more fun watching football. Like, you're asking these people to throw away their religion they've kept for thousands of years so you can drink while watching 11 men play with the balls. Like, come on. Qatar, despite being a very small country, are extremely influential, to the point where no other small country has gotten into such scandals as they have. They've been accused of bribing both the United States and the EU. Trump accepted the whole jet as a gift from Qatar, while the US Constitution prohibits politicians from accepting gifts from foreign governments without approval. And there was a Qatargate where they found that European Union politicians were allegedly being bribed with millions of euros to influence their decisions. They also have Al Jazeera, which is one of the most watched news networks in the Middle East, and Al Jazeera English on YouTube get millions of views daily and they have nearly 16 million subscribers. Just this one small nation has global influence over the world and definitely the entire Middle East, with Al Jazeera being the most watched news network in the Middle East, hosting the last World Cup and exporting the most liquefied natural gas in the world, along with many controversies regarding their influence. Also, Qatar has nearly no Qataris. More than 88% of their population is not a citizen of Qatar, and their population is mostly consisted of migrant workers, mostly from India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Also, because of this system, nearly 80% of their population are men. And honestly, in global politics, Qatar is much more important than most people realize. Like, I was flying with Qatar Airways, and they had fucking Kevin Hart on the screen, reading safety instructions. You know how much money you need to have to make the most paid comedian in the world read fucking airplane safety instructions? So much money, man. Saudi Arabia is the real big boy of oil. They are the biggest exporters of oil, and basically this entire industry depends on them because they export so much more than even number 2. So if they want to, they can literally do whatever with oil prices because they can quickly increase or decrease the amount of oil they make by millions of barrels per day. And because of all this power, they also have infinite money. And by that, I mean they sponsor so many sports events. They have Ronaldo, UFC, boxing, just so many things, man. This just in, Norway has invaded Sweden to liberate the people of Lapland from Swedish Nazis. Folkerepubliken Lapland, the People's Republic of Lapland, asked Norway for help. I decided to conduct a special military operation. It aims to protect the people who have been bullied and been subject to the tyranny of Swedish rule for years. Norway is an oil nation, no doubt about it, but what do they use that money for? Did they use it to declare war on Sweden, to liberate the people of Lapland from the tyranny of Swedish rule? Trust me, bro, if they wanted to, they could buy 5 million mercenary soldiers and arm them with a nuclear weapon each and tell them to invade Sweden. But both me and the Norwegian government understand that this is a stupid fucking idea that only Russia would do. A border we both share. So instead of that, they just use it to be a place where you see how they live and their policies and go, damn, y'all live like this? They are by far the best use of oil money I have ever found. There is around a total of 7 Norwegians in the world, but they supply Europe with a lot of oil and gas. When Russia decided to invade Ukraine, the entire country of Norway got the cartoonish dollar signs in their eyes because gas and oil prices rose and Europe needed a new supplier for gas, so they all turned to Norway. Instead, they used that money for their own people and having basically the highest quality of life in the world. For example, good free healthcare, just anything you won't see in developing countries such as Georgia or the United States. A lot of people don't like French people. I personally like the African French the best because the white ones are a little too rude for me, but ignoring my personal opinion, a big reason to like them is that they use nuclear power instead of bullshit oil. When the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, it was big news and it caused the deaths and illnesses of many people. But what people don't realize is that the magical rock of nuclear was not at fault. It was the people running the plant that were at fault and Soviet bullshit. And the fact that Eastern Europeans cannot boil water just went over everyone's heads, and now nobody uses nuclear. But the people that do get many benefits from it, such as the air being clean and not being Russia's bitch. My favorite movie of all time is Django Unchained, and in its amazing soundtrack is Freedom. You know why? Because freedom is very, very important. So to not have Russia have a hold on your country's energy is a big indicator of freedom. Not only just cleaner air and stuff, such as in France, but also it's like fucking free infinite energy. You know how much better it would be for the entire world to be on nuclear instead of fucking oil from Russia and others? Like, these countries will literally get away with anything purely because they have oil. Russia was able to hold Europe hostage basically because they supplied all of their oil and gas, and these motherfuckers did not listen to Eastern Europeans. That's why their oil and gas prices shot up. Just fucking listen to us, man. If the big Western European powers actually listened to their Eastern counterparts, everything would be fine. Don't trust Russia with oil and gas, they will hold you hostage. But Russia, normal, yes? Oh, you annexed Crimea? Let's build another pipeline delivering gas to us. We are stupid idiots. I will never learn. The German government always wants more and more. Another pipeline, another front, another remilitarization. Also, I know for a fact you enjoyed this video, right? So, I know you found it funny. I know. It was a good video, okay? We all know this. So, now please like and subscribe for this because the real estate price in my city have rose by 50% and I'm like Dutch from Red Dead Redemption. We need money. So, yeah, like and subscribe and goodbye. Thank you so much for the support.
Stalinმა ჩემი დიდი ბაბუა დახვრიტა ბატონო.
Stalini დიდი ადამიანი იყო.
ხო.
უბრალოდ არ დახოცამდა შენ ბაბუას.
ნო. ისი იქნებოდა, ხო? ხო.
Trulailas puli rat უნდა, trulailas თვითონ pulია, ამოიღებს და დახარჯავს, თვითონაც არ აქონია, trulailas შენი ჭირიმე